The financial advice we all hear is to pay your credit card balances quickly, fast, get it done. But right now, with the layoff numbers we saw in 2025 and with layoffs on people's minds right now, that may actually hurt more than it helps. If you should lose your job tomorrow, would your credit card plan help you or would it leave you scrambling? That's why that smart financial advice may be backwards right now. A recent Bankrate survey showed only 30% of Americans would pay $1,000 emergency with savings. Here's a core problem. Most of us are one or two paychecks away from disaster, meaning we don't have enough saved to cover 1 month's expense should our income disappear. So paying down debt feels good and it's great to rid ourselves of that burden, but it doesn't protect us if our income should disappear. Data has shown it takes about 6 months to find a job in this current climate. For professionals, it could take more than 6 months to find another job. If we are only a paycheck or two away from disaster, what do you think is going to happen should you lose your job? Even though experts expect this year to be a lot better when it comes to layoffs, there's still a lot of anxiety and concerns of job security. The best defense isn't getting down to the lowest debt balance. It's having cash to weather the storm, should the storm show up. That is how you prepare for the storm. So here's the plan. Here's what I want you to get out of this video, and I'll be very black and white about it. If you don't have up to 6 months savings, up to 6 months of your expenses saved, you should stop all debt payment and focus on building your emergency savings for up to 6 months. Now, you are still going to keep up with your minimum payment on your credit cards, on your loan payments. You were still going to keep up with those payments. But everything else, all your extra income or your extra cash should go towards building your emergency fund until you have at least 6 months of your monthly expenses saved. And by monthly expenses, I mean your bare minimum, what you have to pay every single month, what you are obligated to pay every single month. That should be your focus. I'm not even going to give that room of, you can do half and half, split your extra income, half going towards savings and half going towards your debt payment. No, not in this climate, not with this data on layoffs, not with the anxiety that comes with lack of job security right now. I want you to focus 100% of your extra income, of your focus, of your energy, of your resources into building up your emergency savings until you have at least 6 months. 3 months is great, but you want to go for 6 months. You are not going to ignore your credit card debt forever. You are simply going to prioritize for now your emergency savings. It is building your safety net first so that an unexpected job loss doesn't send you to the brink. And I know some are going to say, well, you're losing money because you're paying all this interest on your credit card, paying all this interest on the balance. Yes, you will be paying interest on your balance. That is the price you pay for the mistakes you made yesterday. But you are not going to keep working on yesterday's mistakes when you haven't even shored up for tomorrow, when you haven't shored up to prevent future mistakes. So while you are going to take the hit with paying interest right now on those balances, you are going to ensure you do not make another mistake, i.e., find yourself stranded should you lose your job. If you pay off your credit card balances or get it down to all but 10%, and then you lose your job, what happens? You have nothing to hold you over. So you're back to using the credit card. So not only have you just negated all that work and sacrifices you've done to pay down your debt, you're now going to increase it. And at the same time, deal with the mental pain of having to go back to using the credit card you just paid off. Compare that to if you should lose your job and you have 6 months savings, you can have peace knowing financially you're okay for at least a year, because by the time you include your unemployment benefits of 6 months and then your emergency funds of another 6 months, you have 1 year covered. And now you can clearly focus on finding a job without the extra pain and anxiety of increasing your debt. So yes, saving first without paying down your credit card will cost you more in interest, but paying down your credit card without cash on hand will leave you with no fallback if you have no income. And then, if you should never lose your job, you can now focus 100% on paying down your debt without ever worrying or ever going back to using a credit card because an emergency arose. A bank rate data showed 41% of credit card balances originated from emergency or unexpected expenses like car repairs or medical bills, not discretionary spending, not Amazon spending, not impulsive buys. These are true emergencies. In this climate of job insecurity, in this climate of high layoffs, in this climate of living costs being more expensive and getting higher by the day, it is strategic and wise to prioritize increasing your savings right now over paying down debt. Even though it sounds good, even though mathematically it may come out right, i.e., you pay less in interest, right now, the wiser move is to increase your savings, is to ensure that you have your safety net ready to go should you need it. I remember when I paid off my cars at the time, this was back in 2012, 2013. Those car interests were what, 1%, 2%. At the time, I was proud of myself. We paid it off. Good. We're not carrying any debt. But then I look back and I go, oh my gosh, I should have paid off the student loan first. That had a higher interest rate. What was I thinking? But at the time, it made sense. I can take care of the car payment. I can take care of the car balances and get it paid off quickly. It had less balance than my student loan. Love it. I was barely paying anything in interest. Meanwhile, the student loan, I was paying a lot in interest. It was what, 6%? Here I was paying off 1%. It is the same thing right now, right? You taking a look at that credit card balance and it seems huge. And to you, let me just get rid of this. I can get rid of this burden. But you're not thinking about the bigger picture. You focus on the 1% rather than focusing on the 6%. That emergency savings is what keeps you afloat for at least a year, even paying down the credit card while you're unemployed because you have included that in your monthly expenses and what you've saved up. Because as long as you're paying your minimum payment on your credit card, you are paying down your credit card balance. It would just take longer. But while you're unemployed, you were still paying down your credit card balance compared to when you're focused on just paying down your credit card balances. You're unemployed, you can't even make your minimum payment. And so not only is it past due, in 90 days, your credit is hit, right? Because now you're 90 days past due, and that's a major hit on your credit. If you're not sure how much you should save, what you should consider emergency, let me know in the comment section and we'll chat it over and help you get some clarity. Remember, I'm a nobody. I'm just a regular person on YouTube. This is common sense financial advice. And sometimes common sense is the only sense that makes sense. That should be on the t-shirt. That should be our slogan. Common sense is the only sense. If you need help with this, reach out to me in the comment section. I will gladly work with you and we'll figure something out. And I can tell you what I consider to be my monthly expenses or how I calculate my monthly expenses. In today's climate, I'm honestly more, well, I've always been that way. I'm more comfortable having 1 year saved. But if you already have 6 months, then you can follow your discretion, do as you please. But if you have less than 6 months, there is no way about that. Your priority is growing your savings right now. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.